It's 39 days to the presidential and parliamentary elections. Welcome to Joy News Prime with me, Carlos Caloni. We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV 125, all social media handles, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. Our headlines: opposition NDC says it does not expect its position on the ballot paper to change following the death of GFP presidential candidate Ikea Donkor, with suggestions the EC may have to reopen nominations.
It has nothing to do with our position on the ballot paper. Nothing will change on it. The rule is very clear, and the law is very clear about that.
We have details as the Electoral Commission waits to be officially informed about the death of Madam Ikea Donkor. Plus, speak to a legal practitioner and get some reaction from the political parties. Now, stop the politicking and the blame game and allow the crisis to be resolved. Chieftaincy Minister tells feeding Baku factions following the fresh killings of 16 persons. We have details as government engages eminent chiefs led by the Asante Otunfo said to broker lasting peace in the area.
Yesterday, released a press statement that declared a curfew in the Baku area due to the substantial threat to public safety and security.
And all set for the grand finale of the most sought-after high school competition, the National Science and Math Quiz, which school becomes the champion. Will it be the two-time champions Infantipim School or four-time title holder St. Augustine's College, or it is time for Keta Senior High Technical School to taste victory for the first time? There will be two females on stage tomorrow, the quiz mistress and perpetual Sefako Gakweto. Tonight, we focus on all the remaining female contestants in this year's competition.
Inspiration from her and keep myself going, draw inspiration from my teachers and keep pushing. But it's not pressure, yeah, being given the resources, the procedures to follow, then you get it done. So that's just it.
Now to our very first story, Chieftaincy Minister Stephen Asamoah Boateng has ruled out the possibility of declaring a state of emergency in Baku, asserting that security officials are actively working to resolve the tensions by facilitating the departure of rival chief Seydou Abagri from the town. This move aims to stabilize the volatile situation and restore peace ahead of the upcoming December elections. There's more in the following report.
Barely a month before the December general election, Baku has been shaken by renewed clashes, forcing feuding factions back to the negotiation table in hopes of restoring peace. The unrest sparked by the controversial return of rival chief Seydou Abagri has led to the tragic loss of 16 lives in just a few days. Security chiefs are working to remove him to quell rising tensions. That's according to Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs Minister Stephen Asamoah Boateng.
In terms of how the rival chief ended up in Baku, I'll leave that to security agencies to answer that. It's unfortunate he did. It's something that we have to find answers to, and also to try and deal with it, because his very presence is creating the problems. And indeed, as you read from the statement yesterday, it's causing a lot of unrest and unease and tension. So let's, as I said, leave that to security agencies.
The government has also enhanced security in Baku, increasing police and military presence and initiating a strict curfew to curb further violence.
Government yesterday released a press statement that declared a curfew in the Baku area due to the substantial threat to public safety and security. Government is guided by its responsibility to protect lives and property, and above all, to enforce law and order to restore normalcy as quickly as possible.
The Chieftaincy Minister Stephen Asamoah Boateng also disclosed that eminent chiefs led by Asante Otunfo II are mediating between the factions who are currently cooperating.
But from the role of the key personalities who are helping to resolve, Indeed, you recall that the government has requested Otumfuo de Asantehene to take sole responsibility in terms of negotiating and discussing and bringing this whole thing to some amicable solution. And he's been doing that. It's not just because of this incident. I know he's called them severally to Malaysia. I know he's in touch. And indeed, just recently, for the past 3 or 4 days, we have been talking to him and he's talking to them, and indeed that is going down well.
There's also the race against time to end the negotiations before the elections.
We cannot afford a long dragging out of this conflict into the election period. Don't forget that election itself brings tension anyway, and so you don't want to add the Baku matter to it, so we better deal with it quickly. Don't also forget that we also have the little matter of our northern border. It's not a little matter, it's a big matter, but that's also something we keep an eye on. So you don't want Baku matter to drag for too long. And both factions are aware of this. They're aware of the election implications. They're aware of the attempt by the jihadists in the Burkina Faso end. So when we talk to them, they're all conscious of the sanctity of our boundaries and our borders.
Mr. Samuel Boateng once again appealed directly to the youth in Baku, imploring them to abstain from provocative actions to support the peace process.
To my brothers and sisters in Baku area, and that's why I'm wearing the hat. Normally I don't, but today I decided to do that. I'm addressing you, my brothers and sisters in the Baku area, and wherever you find yourself, please reach out to your neighbor. Bridge the divide that separates you and build a future where peace reigns supreme. You have lived together peacefully in the past. You have intermarried and produced children of parentage from all sides. I plead with you to take a step back from these seemingly provocative happenings and show exceptional love to yourselves. For you are one people, as we are all one people in this country, working hard to better our lives.
For Joy News, Mamisi Nyamiche Thompson.
Away from that story, with less than 24 hours for newly admitted senior high school students to report to their various schools, scores of parents are expressing frustration over the limited time allocated for preparation for the 2024-2025 academic year. The Ghana Education Service on Tuesday released a placement containing assigned schools to qualified individuals, with students expected to begin reporting to schools tomorrow, November 30. Some parents are still working to secure placement for the award. Joy News' Collins Frimpong was there and has more in the following report.
The release of the SHS placement has sparked a last-minute rush for thousands of students and parents facing tight reporting deadlines. Out of the 563,339 results received from WAEC, 553,115 students qualified for placement, with 447,698 automatically assigned to schools. The rest must complete self-placement, with those seeking changes urged to finalize by the reporting date. Many parents feeling the pressure of this timeline are calling on GS to consider extending the opening day.
We are here to change my brother's school. We are in Kumasi, but we had a day school in Accra, so we are here to change the school. How can you release school today and expect us to go to school tomorrow?
The placement have delayed a little. And if you ask me, I will appreciate if they will give us a little time for us to organize ourselves.
We wrote for her home accounts, but they have changed it to a technical. So we are here to change it. We need them to extend the time for us.
Students are urgently seeking placement adjustments to better suit their needs, while others are working to switch from day schools to options favorable to them. They spoke with Joy News.
The placement came today and our uniforms are not ready, but they are telling us we should report to school tomorrow. So that's how it has come. So we have to go tomorrow.
I'm not ready for school because we just got the results. the BC, the placement. So I don't think I can go tomorrow. If they can extend the reopening for us.
They gave me a school which is at Kaswa, and they gave me, and I'm staying at Accra, so I can't be going from.
Meanwhile, Deputy National Coordinator for Free SHS, Nana Afra Sekamensa, reassured parents to stay calm. According to her, the student can still report to school after the November 30th deadline if needed.
The placements that you print. So if you can't go to the school to pick the prospectus, you print everything and then you take it to the school. So it's just registration and then orientation. But serious academic work is not going to start tomorrow. They shouldn't rush going to school. They should stay smooth. This is a smooth process that we are going. The heads and then the teachers, they are aware that we are not starting any serious academic work tomorrow 30th, but it's just going to be orientation and then registration.
Students are to begin to report to school from tomorrow, November 30, and begin academic activities on November 7.
Now, Kwesi Kwatson is spokesperson for the Education Minister. He explains that students have till November 7 to complete registration and report to school.
Ordinarily, parents will have to travel to schools where their students or their children are placed, sometimes even sleep over, get the prospectus, come back home before they're able to prepare and go and begin registration process. But with the introduction of the harmonized prospectus, the expectation is that it reduces the preparation days by maybe 7 to 10 days. And even beyond that, what we are also saying is that if you go to school on the 30th of this month, which happens to be tomorrow, it is not necessarily, mandatory. What we are saying is that we are encouraging all students to go, begin registration process, also go through the processes of orientation, and then acclimatize and abreast themselves and wait till the 7th of November before they begin full academic activities.
But it's simply impossible, is it not? I mean, for as a parent to get a placement today and enroll tomorrow. It's just not realistic.
That's
Even though you're encouraging them, they have some latitude. It's still not possible, considering all the things you have to buy. Some of them have to travel. It's just not fair on parents.
Yeah, I mean, Evans, if you look at for instance, the harmonized prospectus, it was released to the public or within the public space even ahead of the placement release. So it is something that, the natural expectation was that parents are already privy to, and some manner of preparation had already begun. But of course, that is also not necessarily to run down, the concerns of parents. It is the more reason why we are saying that this time around, if you go on 30th, we are not necessarily going to begin full academic activities. What we are going to do is registration process. And of course, that flexibility is also there, that if you are unable to go on 30th, you can't go, for instance, 31st or the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, even up to 7th. There could even be genuine instances where people could even go beyond the 7th. But, in these cases, you are working with human beings, so there's also a bit of flexibility and human interface.
Let's now shift our attention to the power sector, where leading independent power producer Sonon Asogli has raised concerns with a recent statement by Finance Minister Mohamed Amin Adam. Sonon Asogli halted operations over a $259 million debt owed by the electricity company of Ghana. All of these is coming at the back of current power outages in parts of the country. The Finance Minister, at a news conference in the United States of America, accused the power producer of bad faith over their decision to shut down in the middle of negotiations. Take a listen.
I had meetings with Asogli, and we agreed that we will pay. But we wanted them to sign the settlement agreement because this is one of the terms of the agreement. They said, no, we should pay before they sign. But if it is part of the settlement agreement, why should I implement an agreement that has not been signed? And so we communicated this to Asogli, only for Asogli to come and say they no longer want 30 million, now they want 60 million. And if we don't pay them 60 million, they will shut down. That is why they shut down. Right. And so people behave as if we as a country, we don't know our rights or we don't know what we want, especially when election is closer. Everybody thinks that, look, I can put a gun on the head of Ghana And so by going ahead to shut down, they acted in bad faith. This is not how partners work together.
But Sonon Asogli is unhappy about the minister's comment. A spokesperson, Elikplim Apetokbo, says no official negotiation took place between the company and the minister, describing his comment as dishonest.
Absolute dishonesty on the part of our finance minister. There has been so much dishonesty in the whole process on his part. He has maintained a very haughty and condescending character in the whole process, which is not good for a public officer, particularly in the office of a finance minister. I'm not aware when we have agreed to sign restructuring terms with anyone. We are still negotiating. No one goes into a negotiation to lose. It is always a win-win affair. And he has always maintained a position that if you will not accept this, I'm not going to pay you. If he is saying that, let him provide that evidence to the public that, yes, he has been able to reach an agreement with Asogli. And even if we are signing, that what it means is that we have reached a meeting point. But to the best of my knowledge, there is nothing like that. We are not there yet.
So as of the time you shut down, there's not been any form of engagement, whether formal or informal, in relation to your resumption to operations, right?
Since we shut down, we've been having some verbal engagements, and he maintained a position that until this thing is done, he is not willing to talk to us, or he is not willing to attend to us. That has been his posture.
So what will it take for you to resume operations?
You know, we have mentioned our challenge. He has countless times to make payment to Sonon Asogli, but has not honored those obligations or those promises. But today he's saying that somebody is acting in bad faith. What is worse than that?
Away from energy, the opposition National Democratic Congress says it does not expect its position on the 2024 election ballot paper to change due to the death of GFP presidential candidate, Madam Ikea Donko. Ikea Donko is number 3 on the ballot paper, but following her death, there have been suggestions that the Constitution mandates the Electoral Commission to make some amendments or reopen nominations. But with printing of a ballot paper underway nationwide, questions have also been asked as to what will happen if GFP decides to withdraw from the election and its impact on the balloting. We'll hear from the NDC shortly, but what exactly does the Constitution and other relevant laws say on this issue? My colleague James Aveji joins us with more on this. James, first, what does the Constitution say about this development?
Well, Carlos, the Constitution at Article 50, Clause 4 actually talks about this, and for purposes of clarification, let me quote verbatim. It says, quote, where at the close of nominations, but before the election, one of the candidates dies, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nominations, and where the death occurs at any time within 25 days before the election in that constituency or unit shall be postponed for 21 days, unquote. And so that's exactly what the position of the Constitution is. But there are other laws that talks about this. For instance, the People's Representation Law, ROPA, which is PNDC Law 284, also repeats almost verbatim the provision of the Constitution, and it says that, quote, where at the close of nominations, but before the elections, one of the candidates dies, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nominations, and where the death occurs at any time within 25 days before the election, the election in that particular constituency shall be postponed for 21 days. Then we have the Electoral Commission's own CI 127, which also makes some provisions there at Regulation 13.4 of that CI. Also largely retains the language of the Constitution on that. It says that where at the close of nominations, but before the election, one of the candidates dies, and a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nominations that continue, and it continues that where an election is to be held and a candidate dies on the eve of the election, the proof of the death of that candidate shall be given to the returning officer, in this case, Madam Jean Mensah, who is chairperson of the Electoral Commission, and commencement of the poll, the returning officer shall put on hold the proceedings in relation to the election and as far as when the Electoral Commission is informed as far as this is concerned. Carlos.
Great. Thank you so much for the details there. Now, the opposition NDC is already speaking on this particular matter. Deputy Director of Elections and IT, Dr. Tanko Rashid Computer, says the NDC expects to retain its number 8 on the ballot paper, and all the EC and its electoral officials have to do on December 7th is to cancel the name of Ikea Donko on the ballot paper before issuing it.
As a political party, let me first of all express my condolences to the bereaved family. I mean, I share their grief, but as a party, it doesn't mean anything to us because the law is very clear. I'm sure readers should avert their minds to the enabling CI regulation 17(1)-4. You see, when you are quoting the Constitution is properly interpreted by CIs, a constitutional instrument. That is the driving force of the Constitution. And so when you look at the regulation, and I read Regulation 17, that is Regulation 17(1)-4, especially the fourth aspect, for want of time. I would have read all the want to 4, but I'll take you on 4. Regulation 17(4), where a new candidate is nominated by a political party, the commission shall adjourn elections in the constituency. See how the framers of the CI said that in the constituency of the deceased candidate for a period of 21 days from the date of the nomination of the new candidate. So here it's referring to parliamentary elections.
Yes.
The regulation here is referring to parliamentary candidates, not presidential.
Yes.
In fact, the CI didn't envisage presidential death. So when you look at Regulation 17, we talk of death of a candidate. When you read the 1 up to 4, it's rather referring to a candidate in a constituency.
Okay.
Not a presidential candidate.
I mean, this is why...
Meanwhile, presidential candidate for the LPG, Kofi Akpaloo, says the death of Madam Ikea Donko is a painful one, but wants her life to inspire young Ghanaian girls that even without education, they can aspire to be great people in society.
Because she's one of the successful women in Ghana. Only second person or your bar watching the party. First, my Kuredu Ajuma. Kuredu Ajuma Rollins will be in the Bobre. And they watch me. Only to me or bar Utimita Nukurechimum Kuyu. Beuru or mine for so many years. And you know, a mammy and son and a sofa met you my comasem. Oh, Ghana Hanuma, Mimi Fise, a barman or some near the idea. Yes, Antoine. I just know your kufu. And I'm a make Kuredu Rollins. And I'm a make Kranoko. Any moment to my enu. I say, Yabo or more Basuna, Yabo Basua. As I santima, then it can't museum no. Some are me, so they come moment to Tunasi. Because who say, who is here? No, Abasa history. Yeah. So, first presidential candidate. I will ballot.
Away from that story, Joy News has formally lodged a complaint with the National Media Commission as we continue to pile pressure on the Ghana Police Service to expedite the arrest and prosecution of the individuals who brutally assaulted multimedia journalist Erastus Asare Donko and his crew in their line of duty at the illegal mining site in the Ashanti region. The assailant confiscated drone batteries and SD cards, deleting footage from the equipment. Joy News condemns this act and demands that all those involved be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law as we intensify our hashtag Defend Media Freedom campaign. Here is Erastus Asare Donko recounting his chilling experience.
So we drove for another 20 minutes. We entered some bushy area. There was an untarred road. Then they stopped the vehicles and asked us to get out. So at that point, I was really scared because I didn't know what they were going to do. Are they going to shoot us? What are they going to do? So I was asking them, why have you brought us here? You said we were going to see the site owner. Now we are in the bush. So what are we doing here? Then before I could say jag, 2 hot slaps from behind, and they pulled me out. Then they opened the doors, asked everybody to get out.
You had 3 other people with you?
Yeah, the drone pilot, the camera technician, and my driver.
Okay.
Then they started beating us. This one will come, slap you from behind. The other one will come, punch you.
You said you were about how many?
We were 4. We were 4.
No, they.
But they were more than 10.
All armed?
Fully armed. Pump action, rifles, knives. They were dressed like they were bandits.
Yeah, so what happened next?
So they started beating us. And in fact, the next 30 minutes, hot slaps. You wouldn't know. You'd be standing there and then one would come from behind, wham.
They held you for as long as 30 minutes?
Yes. There were exchanges here and there. They said we should open our passwords. They want to format our phones. And I was trying to say that if you think we've taken pictures of your site, let me open the folder for you, then delete your pictures. But when you say you are formatting my phone, you can't do that. I received a lot of slaps from there, so I had to give in. I said, okay, fine, do what you want with the phone. Then he was trying to do it. He was asking of my Apple ID. Seriously, I didn't remember it. So I told him I don't remember the Apple ID. And that infuriated them more. So the more we talk, they think we are lying and slaps. So eventually I saw a minibus approaching on the untarred road.
They ended up formatting your phones?
Yeah, they formatted 2 of the phones. They deleted mine. They were not able to do it, so they deleted the files.
Okay.
Then I went in front of the bus and it stopped. Then I yelled at the driver that we are journalists. I mentioned my name. We work with multimedia. They are trying to kill us. So help us. Then the driver stopped the vehicle, wanted to get out. Then they surrounded the bus with their guns and asked him to move. So he moved the vehicle. So I think it was at that time that they realized that somebody has gotten to know, so they have to leave.
All is set for the grand finale of the most sought-after high school competition, not just in Ghana, but the whole of Africa. And I dare say the world. I'm talking about the National Science and Math Quiz. The big question tonight is which school becomes the 2024 champion? Who breaks the tie tomorrow, since St. Augustine's College or Infantapin School have both won the title twice? Or is it time to make way for Keta Senior High Technical School to taste victory for the first time? I'll take you live to the Central Regional Capital, Cape Coast, to join the team on the ground shortly. But first, during the grand finale tomorrow, there will be 2 females on stage. One will be the quiz mistress, and the second female will be Perpetua Sefako Gakpeto. Tonight, we focus on the only remaining female contestant in this year's competition. She's not only aiming to make history as the only female finalist, but also to help Kita School clinch its first ever NSMQ trophy. My colleague Jacqueline Ansuma has more in the following report.
Yadi, another girl, Abba. This one, she's beyond Laminio. She's called Gakpeto.
The crowd can't help but cheer for Ketasco's fierce contestant, Gakpeto Perpetual Sefako, who has been a standout since the quarterfinals, where she helped eliminate 2-time champions at Shimoto School in a thrilling performance. Now, as the only female finalist, she's not just competing, she's breaking ground, and her resolve is inspiring. In a candid conversation, Perpetual shared that she draws strength from her mentors and also from Francisca Lamini, the first female to make it to the finale for Ketasco.
Draw inspiration from her and keep myself going, draw inspiration from my teachers and keep pushing. But it's not pressure, being given the resources, the procedures to follow, then you get it done. So that's just it.
Have you spoken to Francisca?
Yes, I have.
And she's giving you some tidbits and all that?
Just normal things.
With her focus and calm demeanor, Perpetual has turned what could be seen as pressure into pure determination, as she's built a strong bond with her male teammates, and together they're driven by one goal: making history.
When you stay with boys for so long, like when you stay with a group of people for so long, it becomes something like mutual induction. So you become a boy.
You feel like you are becoming like a boy now?
Not becoming like a boy. You just become one of them. So you blend in.
Yeah.
So it's not a gender something.
Sure.
We're all just science students. Our journey has been life-changing. We want to be known for being the first people to bring the trophy to our school.
The grand finale fast approaching, Gakpeta is all set to prove that Ketasco is not just a contender, but a school of champions. The only girl standing is ready to take her final bow, hoping it will be on the winner's podium. For Joy News, I'm Jacqueline Ansma Yabor.
Now, as the grand finale nears, where does the data lean and who holds the winning momentum? Joy News Research delves into the numbers to uncover the key insight. Lead data and research analyst Kofi Ajay joins me in studio with details. Kofi, first, let's start with the final winning percentage of all three schools.
Well, I must say that this is the most difficult NSMQ final actually to call because it's between these three top schools. Keta Senior High School has been to the final one. This will be their second time. The last time they were in the final was in 2021. They didn't win that, so that gives them a winning percentage, a final winning percentage of 0%. Now, in Fanspim, they've been to the final 4 times and have won 2 out of that. The last time they won was 2014. So it's been a decade since Infantsman actually won the NSMQ. And that gives them a winning percentage of 50. That means if Infantsman goes to the final 10 times, there's high probability that they'll win 5 out of that 10. Okay. The last school, which is the St. Augustine's College, has been to the final 2 times and they've won all 2. The last time they won the contest was in 2019. That gives them a winning percentage of 100%. Wow. In fact, that means that if you give St. Augustine 10 finals, there's high probability that they win 10 out of 10 because of the current position that they have. Okay. But there's actually an NSMQ theory that Joy News Research has been studying. And this theory has actually never failed since 2017. And the theory is that the school that actually get the highest average score in terms of from the 1A to the semifinals always go ahead to win the contest in the final. Okay. Now let's look at 2019. The same thing happened. The school that we are talking about, St. Augustine's College, in 2019 went to the final with the highest average of 56. The mark was 56. They went ahead to win. Look at the arrangement. Highest, followed by Presec, and then there's also St. Peter's. The same arrangement in 2019. Same story or picture pan out in 2020. Let's look at the 2020. The same thing. 2020, something happened. The second school actually became the last during the final. But that theory always holds that the first school that had the highest average went ahead to win that contest in the 2020 final. Same in 2021, the picture did not change. Prempeh College went into that contest with the highest average. They went ahead to win, and the same picture, look at the arrangement, nothing changes. Okay. And in 2022, the same picture also panned out. In 2022, the school that actually went to the final with the highest was the same Presec. They went ahead to win the contest. 2023, which was just last year. Last year, let's look at last year. That was when Presec won their 8th trophy. They went to the finals with the highest average of 55.7. Interesting. And we all know what happened in the final. They went ahead to win. This time around, we are looking at the data. And I must say that this is the first time that it's becoming so difficult to call who will win the contest. But what we can report is that currently, what we've seen so far, the data is actually on the side of St. Augustine's College. But momentum is also on the side of Infantsman because of their journey to the final. But you can never take out Keta out of this contest. All right.
Thank you. Interesting data there. Yeah. Thank you so much. Now, the 2024 National Science and Maths Quiz is produced by Primetime Limited and sponsored by the Ghana Education Service in partnership with Goel PLC and supported by Pepsodent, Jupe, Prudential Life Insurance Ghana, and Beta Malt. The broadcast of the 2024 National Science and Maths Quiz on Joy News is supported by NASCO, Vitamag Virtual Security Africa, Ace Media Insurance, Build Financial Technologies, DBS Roofing, Syntex Tanks, Family Health Medical College, Chobos Technologies, and Action Secondary Technical, DPS Pipes, Waka Now, and Coronation Insurance. You're still watching the Joy News Prime with me, Carlos Scaloni. We'll take a short break. We'll return with more. Please stay. Welcome back. Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, Platinum Energy, Energizing Dreams, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA, and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, AICPA, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental, Wellness and Beauty, Chobos Technologies, a convenience service, and Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging the gap for positive youth development. This evening, a presidential candidate for the ruling New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, says he will prioritize Ghanaian business people if he wins the 2024 elections. The vice president, speaking during his tour of some major markets in the Greater Accra region as part of his campaigns ahead of the December elections, announced that he will streamline the tax regime in the country and also implement a tax amnesty for all traders starting 2025. My colleague Prince Kwame Kudoga was with the Vice President earlier today and joins us live via Zoom. Prince, what more can you report on this market tour by Dr. Bawumia today?
Well, Carlos, this Greater Accra Regional Market tour of the MPP presidential candidate, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, forms part of his campaign strategy towards the December poll. You know, today he started his tour from the Mampovi market, the Tuesday market at Mampovi in the Abdulkamat South municipality. He moved to Tudu and then to where he received a resounding welcome from the market women and men. Great. So what has he been telling these market women? Well, the flag bearer of the MPP has been speaking to the market women today. He told them that, you know, when he comes to power, or if he wins the 2024 elections, and he becomes the president of the Republic of Ghana, he will prioritize their needs as business people. First of all, he said that he will streamline the tax regime in the country. He will give tax amnesty to all business people and also invest heavily in businesses and business people. Let's listen to him.
Tax system no me besisano. I have a lot of policies for the business people. First among them is to streamline the tax system. I know you have problems with the GRA, so we'll move to the flat tax system starting 2025. But I will give tax amnesty to all businesses to start in 2025. All taxes owed VRA will be cancelled. Secondly, duties at the port will also be flat tax. When you bring in a 20-footer container, the tax will be fixed and you won't be asked to pay any taxes, any extra fees. Flat tax. Ghana import duty will not be higher than Togo import duty. It will be lower. Ghana's import duties will not be higher than that of Togo. It will be lower or at the same rate. We will import duty also
Prince, you also interacted with some of the market women. What did they tell you?
Well, Carlos, the market women I interacted with have been telling me that they believe Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is the man to be the president of the Republic of Ghana. Why? Because they believe that he's the man to continue the legacy of the President Akufo-Addo if he leaves the office. And they believe that
the legacies of the President, including the free SHS that their children are beneficiaries of. When Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia wins the power, he will implement and continue to implement it. Let's listen to them as well.
It's possible because we want our kids to go to school free. We want free education because we can't afford to pay school fees. So through Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, we can get education free. So we want Bawumia. No Bawumia, no vote. So it is possible. Number one. Me pamani ye. Me ma go free education. Me ma mi ensa ako free education. Enti Bawumia ba ye ho beto yen. Ye nya ba bi hwedwa. Bawumia ba ya. Ayi na ye ne hwedwa wa ase o.
Ebumisi economy na edin.
Ayadi obi anfare sanya adwuma. Wa anya adwuma unidi. Bi ewiase na sa me na chibio. Na ni ma na ekọ. Enti ba bia ayede nya hanko na ayede.
Prince, away from the markets, tell us also about the NPP call center.
So, hello, the NPP call center is a multi-purpose infrastructure facility built by the New Patriotic Party to serve two purposes. First, ahead of the elections, the call center will be a medium of reaching out to the voters, campaigning on food, and giving them reasons why they should vote for the NPP. Secondly, on election day, the call center will serve as a medium of them communicating and directing their people on the field and receiving information from them. Now, this call center is supposed to help the NPP be able to gather the numbers that they are, the elections they are getting in the elections. This is before the NPP announces the main result. That is the purpose of the call center. Now, His Excellency Mahamudu Bawumia himself spoke with one person on the phone, telling him why he should vote for him as the President of the Republic of Ghana. Let's listen to him and that interaction with that voter there.
Dr. Bawumia, cheers. You know, now, me fret, who said it, Abaya, yeah, between 2024 meeting, I may feel, Professor Obuami, now, Obua MPP. But we did share ye war, Beboa Ghana, mine, Ebeboa Munina, say, Assemblyman, dear, who say, me policy be what, make us say, ye common fund, so ever my assemblyman, say the ye war MP common fund, say assemblyman Subenya, 80. Adia ejuma ayaye ne hihye aye wonti na me pese moto aba no ema me na montuma MPP yo me that's why.
Away from the MPP, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has emphasized that the House of Legislature is a vital institution that should not be taken for granted, as it serves as the mirror of Ghana's democracy. Speaking at the inauguration of the Parliament's Supplementary Office Complex, Alban Bagbin indicated that Parliament embodies the principles of representation, accountability and governance, reflecting the people's voice and holding the government accountable to the public. The Speaker called on stakeholders and Ghanaians to uphold and respect the institution's role in shaping the nation's democratic framework.
Any democracy anywhere is as good as its parliament. If the people are to benefit from democratic governance, it is the parliament, which is the mirror of democracy, that is the focus that should be strengthened. Because apart from lawmaking, it is parliament that has the only function of oversight. And it is parliament that should ensure that our collective efforts, whether in terms of energy, in terms of resources, in terms of trust, is properly applied to the benefit of everybody. So strengthening parliament is not just the duty of parliament, but of everybody. And we have to work together to make sure that our people don't suffer and struggle to elect us in vain. And so what we're doing here is towards focusing to make sure that the will of the people, which is reposed in Parliament, is not misapplied.
Meanwhile, former majority leader in Parliament, Abraham Osei, has called for a swift resolution of the current impasse between the judiciary and Parliament after Speaker of the House, Alban Babin, through his lawyers, sought the Supreme Court to set aside its order, which stayed his declaration of 4 seats vacant. Abraham Edu believes if the standoff between the two arms of government is not resolved amicably, the nation could be heading for a disaster.
Well, everyone is concerned. Everyone is concerned because if a both doom, especially we didn't have a national budget before December, and we cannot go like this as a country. I mean, we don't want to have any disaster in the country. We pray that both sides will see reason. Yeah.
Will you take this up? I'm told there's a board meeting today. Will you take this up?
Well, it's not part of the agenda for the board. This is not part of the board's mandate. It's for the MPs and the Speaker. Yeah. But we will see what we can do about that. Yes, because we are heading towards a disaster. Yeah. Thank you.
Now, the Mining Committee of the National Democratic Congress is alleging that foreign nationals have infiltrated the community mining scheme, thus defeating the purpose for its establishment. According to the NDC, on a recent visit to this site, they discovered the scheme has been politicized. The 2024 NDC manifesto is promising a new order in which they will roll out an artisanal small-scale cooperatives. Nana Yao Jima has more in the following report.
The small-scale and community mining scheme introduced by the present NPP administration aimed at sanitizing the small-scale mining sector. It was introduced in all the country's mining regions, with locals being direct beneficiaries. But some miners are alleging foreign nationals continue to play active roles under the scheme.
The Chinese are those in charge of the sites. They can sack us from the sites. If we kick them out of the small-scale mining, we'll be very grateful.
Because China community mining, no, me say China for no benefit.
If the NDC is successful to win the upcoming election, there is a manifesto promise to replace the scheme with artisanal small-scale cooperatives solely to benefit local people. According to the 2024 NDC manifesto, the present scheme is highly partisan and defeats its intended purpose. The NDC Mining Committee members who have been campaigning in some mining sites in the country explained the party's position on the present scheme. Member of the team, Michael Kodjopepra, explains.
And now the community mining is being politicized. So in the manifesto of NDC, we are saying that when small-scale miners help us to garner a lot of votes, when NDC comes into power, we would set aside the community mining and bring about a cooperative mining.
The team has bemoaned the challenges of goldsmiths and jewelry producers in these communities. Mr. Samuel Hajo is a member of the committee.
Every gold that is even produced, we want to have it, the gold board will have it, then try and get the market for the small-scale miner. So that it will not be like somebody, a third party sitting somewhere buying the gold. Currently, we know that it's the Chinese and the Indians and some people who are dealing in the gold. But we expect that the gold board will handle the gold and now do the selling at a competitive pricing that will benefit the Ghana and also benefit the community.
For Joy News, Nana Yauchima reporting.
Well, that's all we have time for. You can log on to myjoyonline.com for more stories. My name is Carlos Caloni. Thank you so much for watching. Prime Business is up next.